So these are the temples of this region. And the big terraces that the French team, Chloé Andrieux, who's the leader, she's not here today, so I should make it clear she's the actual jefe. Julian Sion is her protege, and her team from the CNRS and the French mission here, those terraces and monuments and all that we were seeing in the epicenter. We have one of our bat neighbors passing. Those are on the outside of these, and outside where they build these terraces, and they're worshiping the hills as they always did. But in the period from 760 to 800, this big fluorescence with the trade with Tonquin, they did those classic Maya lowland touches in front. They added the stela and the big constructions. It was an economic boom everywhere down here when the trade routes changed during the period of Maya collapse. And they used that economic power to make those amazing constructions. And so the formations are not as brilliantly covered because they have a coating of mud in them, but still, you know, the temples, you know, this stuff. For them, the gods, the underworld gods who lived here, they did a better job than humans can do. And again, this is just, we don't have time. We're exploring, as I said, the cave teams. I always have a surface settlement reconnaissance team that goes out plotting all the sites and the patterns, but I was the first one to start in 1990 after nearly dying in one of these caves, trying to explore it myself with my archaeologists. I brought in Jim Brady, who's now maybe the leading expert in cave archaeology, and his team, and they had their own independent project of subterranean survey. So in the Maya world, it's really underestimated. You need to have a surface project and you need to have a subterranean project. And without that, you're missing the core of their religion. If there's any doubt about that, the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Maya, which was memorized and kept in codices right up to the conquest, and then was recited to many different priests in the conquest period, and is still used in some areas today, and is in the Maya iconography going all the way back to about 400 or 500 BC at least. That is all, I mean, that story is all about caves. It's all about the hero twins coming down into these caves and having all sorts of, goes on forever, the book, complicated interactions going through the cave of the bats, the cave of the cuchillos, the caves of the knives, you know, and each place having these different adventures, playing the ball game against the death gods, and then finally fooling the death gods and resurrecting the maize god. And with that, well, mankind was saved because corn is everything. Se puede ver un poquito de algo. Si este tal vez es, this is probably remnants of paint. Problem in the cave, you have some nice paintings all through these, but the preservation, the levels of calcium really bury it. With special cameras, you can get some of the imagery sometimes if the deposits haven't also carried away some of the paint. These sorts of broken off stalagmite platforms all over the region, when you have these, they have incense bearers around them and on top. A lot of those, though, are modern and colonial and from every period. It makes a kind of natural altar. One of the scenes in the Popol Vuh, one of the episodes, is in the Cave of the Bats, where the Hunahpu, Shilbanche, the hero twins, were sort of deities, but deities that are closer, like avatars. They're closer to humans, and they're the ones that come down here and save save the corn god, their father, and save mankind. Yes, tal vez tuvo glifos o no. Nice potsherd. These tell us a great deal. But one issue is that it's often a completely different kind of ceramics than on the surface. But you will also find associated with them some of the normal surface ceramics. And that then you can correlate and get the dating for the incense bearers. And of course, as Ephra was saying, the carbon. Están todos lados? Because of the burning and the offerings, there's carbon all over the place. So radiocarbon dating, which doesn't work as well as most people think, but here it would work very well. The problem is that you have to associate the carbon dates with ceramics and ceramic typology, because otherwise the dates are just like the carbon date dates that spot or that monument or whatever. And to relate it to the rest of the sites and other sites, you need to have the association with the potsherds that are everywhere. But here that's not the case because the carbon is everywhere from these offerings. Deposits are shallow, so it's tricky, and it was used in all periods, so it's a microstratigraphy to make sure you've got the carbon from the right period associated with the right incense bearers or pottery. Este tal vez mejor para mis tenis. Look, it's all over the place. The potsherd, you just got to be very careful when you're walking. This is, I mean, this is more accessible than some. I've gone to some of these caves you can't walk. They're just broken polychrome pots of that one style, multicolored pots with the paintings on them, just cover the ground completely. We're not going deep here today, so these are areas that people could still get in and pick up stuff, and I'm sure they did, because you find, you know, jade and all kinds of offerings in these. Ephra is leading the way so that I don't disappear into the abyss. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear the waterfall?
Yeah, definitely.
No sé si, and I don't know if the camera microphone is raging waterfall in the distance. I'd love to go see it, but it's by water. It's tubing. We're going to be digging in this region for the next, I don't know, I'm going to be digging till I die. But my former students, let's say, and my collaborators like the French and Brent Woodfield and others in the future, many of the people that you've met on this dig, will be digging here for the next century or something, because in the Maya world, when you go to see these different sites, there have been hundreds of excavations in those regions. To the north in the Peten, hundreds. And this entire area, well, there's several areas, but prior to the beginning of our Vanderbilt projects, here, down here in 1999, 5 test pits had been dug at one site. And some French explorers had come through. And one, around 1905, one American explorer went past Concren, didn't see the palace because it looked like a big hill, it's so big. Just saw some of the stela near the river. That's it. That's it for archaeology. That and the French cave explorers. The French love caves. They have those painted caves in Europe. So for Sion and Chloé, Chloé really is the jefa. Chloé is very interested in the relationship between these and the big site that she's digging that we've just seen at Ras Ruha Viejo. And so she'll be exploring these more with the French teams because they just crazy for caves. It's one reason why we sort of sawed off this region and gave it to Chloé. And she's a fabulous archaeologist.